So we're now going to learn about the multiplication rule. We're going to begin by reminding ourselves what the conditional probability rule tells us. It tells us that the probability of A given B is equal to the probability of A intersection of B over the probability of B. Now, the conditional probability formula may be rearranged to give the multiplication rule of probability, which tells us the probability of A intersection of B is equal to the probability of A given B times the probability of B. So what you can see that we've done here is we have rearranged our conditional probability formula so that the probability of A intersection of B is now the subject. That's what we've done. So all we've done to achieve that is we have times both sides by B. And now that goes away with that. So this is equal to this, which is what it says there. And this is a very useful formula, and you'll see it in action right now. So here it says, given that for two events A and B, the probability of A is 0.7, the probability of B is 0.3, and the probability of B given A is 0.4, find the probability of A intersection of B. Now, let me tell you something, how I like to think about it. Some people just like to commit this straight to memory, but I just prefer to memorize my conditional probability formula. And when I'm given a question like this, what I'm going to do is I can immediately see that I know this. I know that this is equal to 0.4. So even though it's asking to find the intersection point, and I could, if I wanted to, write down my multiplication rule, what I prefer to do is just to begin by writing down my conditional probability rule for this one, because we've been given this. So this tells me that the probability of A intersection of B over the probability of A, because that is what that's telling me. It's saying given A, so it's over the probability of A. I don't know this, do I? I don't know it. That's what I'm trying to find. Do I know the probability of A? Well, yes, I do. Do I know the probability of B given A? Well, yes, I do. 0.4. And now once I've done that, all I have to do now is times both sides by 0.7, and that will give me my answer. So do you see how I'm using the multiplication rule? I definitely am using the multiplication rule. Let me just write this down. 0.4 times 0.7 is equal to 0.28. So I definitely am using the multiplication rule there, but I never explicitly wrote it out like that. I still relied on just rearranging my conditional probability formula, and I just find that the best way to do it. At least for me. You might just want to memorize the multiplication rule, whatever you like. Okay, let's now move on to the next one here. And again, the way I approach this is like, all right, I've got this. Let me just begin by writing down the conditional probability for this. So this is the probability of A intersection of B over the probability of B. Okay, I now know this. We found it in this part. So this is 0.28, and the probability of B is 0.3. So I need to now go 0.28 divided by 0.3. That's going to be 14 on 15 once we simplify. And that is how we use the multiplication rule over here. And once we've got our desired result, we can then use that and plop it into other things that we've been given. But just make sure you are comfortable with using the multiplication rule to answer questions.